Welcome, bienvenidos a todos to Las Doñas Hablan, Discuten, do other things that have to do with talking. Today we have some incredible guests joining us. Nice to see you.
That's me.
That's definitely Robert.
All right.
Definitely Brian.
Definitely
Brian.
So, as is customary in Las Doñas, I'm going to ask you guys, this is particularly for Las Doñas because, I don't know, I was just compelled the other day. What is your favorite summer to fall transition song? Something that you like imagine yourself. Like the other day I was driving and I was like, if I was in a movie, I would want this song to be playing right now in the background as the sequence goes from summer to fall. Very specific.
Can you start with yours?
Yes. Okay. My summer to fall transition song is Somewhere Only We Know.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where only we know.
That's really like mellow, almost depressing.
Yeah, that's what.
Kind of
Yes,
depressing.
that's
It's
what
kind
I
of
feel
sad,
about
yeah.
fall. Fall is not one of my favorite seasons. My favorite season is summer, and so then when you come into fall, like it's just like such a drop. I feel like from the excitement of, I know it's so many people's favorite. It's not mine. It's not. And I feel sad that fall has arrived. So then I listen to sad music. But that's mine. That's mine. What about yours?
I mean, it's true. When we lived in Michigan, it was like fall for 2 days and then winter.
Yeah,
So, you know, I can really, once you really experience fall, you're like, okay, it's not too bad. I actually like it. It became my favorite when I lived in Boston. So I would say my song would be September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Do you remember? Oh, that's true. You guys, you do play that.
I love that song.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I will say I have like 4 playlists that just are on rotation the entire year. Maybe I'll start listening to Christmas songs.
Oh, but yeah, look what I was like,
You guys,
what I was playing.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
that's Sebi.
That's me.
That's Sebi. He says September's here. It's time to play Christmas music.
It's almost Christmas. Might as well spread the joy, you know.
That's a Christmas cheer.
Christmas cheer. Hey, last year was super short, so yeah,
we only
you
had,
gotta
like 2 weeks.
you gotta like extend it as long as possible. So.
2 weeks.
Because Thanksgiving was late last year. Remember?
Yeah.
It was like
Oh.
literally only like 2 or 3 weeks. You know.
Alrighty, I have a
Did
question.
they move? Wait,
for,
did they move Thanksgiving last year? What happened?
It's
How-
always the.
Why was it shorter?
It just felt late because remember Thanksgiving was like the 28th.
Oh, you're right. I was just,
Basically like December 1st.
It was a
by the
huge
time-
problem. You didn't have enough time to digest your Thanksgiving
Yeah.
meal. By the time
you had to have.
you're still
Yeah.
full, you couldn't eat as much. It was just a horrible
True.
time.
Yeah,
It was actually
true.
pretty bad.
that's funny.
Like a precursor to 2020.
Yeah, it was low key.
We should have seen it coming.
It was a premonition.
It was a warning.
I have a question for Los Dones.
Los
Jefes.
Jefes.
Ooh. Los jefes.
Jefes.
Los jefes.
Patrones.
Patrones.
Yeah, jefe.
Compadres.
Okay, what, when you go into a pizzeria, what topping does your wife order?
All those sour ones.
Sour Patch Candy.
No, what I mean by that is like banana peppers and all this like weird stuff that
Green olives. Oh,
yeah. That most people don't really put on their pizza, but
Good.
What about Valerie, Steven?
I said sun-dried tomatoes. I didn't even know
Ah,
what that was till we started like dating. And then sun-dried tomatoes and banana peppers too. She loves
oh yeah,
banana
oh.
that's
on
the move.
everything.
That's the
Sauce,
move.
too, like
Yeah, I
banana
like it on
peppers.
subs too. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
What happened to us, Steven?
Now I put it on everything.
Yeah. That's funny. And Chan likes olives, obviously vegan cheese,
True.
and sun-dried tomatoes. I'll say too.
No.
She doesn't like that. Doesn't like-
I don't ever remember putting sun-dried
Yeah.
tomatoes on anything.
Yeah, that is true. That's what I was saying. She doesn't like it either.
Remember we did you you
Chan actually
saw-
prepped me
what
for
is
this
it?
when we went to Blaze Pizza the other day. She's like, "Look at what I ordered and what vegetables do I have?"
Yeah, and you're missing a key a key one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ¿qué es?
Oregano.
No, that's a spice.
Salt.
Doesn't it gets crushed from something? It could potentially be
What color is it, John?
Artichoke.
Oh, yeah. I
Ooh,
like
those are good though.
Artichokes are delicious.
Yeah, artichokes are good.
That's a big word. I mean, you want to
Yeah.
remember that. I mean, that's
that's a big
He
word.
sees it every time I order a pizza. It's on there. It's the staple topping.
Yeah,
It's okay.
It's I mean it.
You'll get them next time, bud.
Thanks. This artichoke doesn't whatever.
It
Okay.
doesn't belong on pizza. It doesn't belong
Yes,
on
It doesn't
pizza.
belong.
Yes, it does.
Pineapple
I don't
pineapple
know,
and
maybe not.
jalapenos do, but not.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wait. Oh no, I was gonna switch it around. I was gonna ask the.
It's too late. No, I think-
Well,
Well, now we know.
Seb says pineapple and jalapeno. I know a lot of people. That's a controversial topic between a lot of folks,
Mhm.
but Seb's is definitely a pineapple on pizza kind of guy.
Hot controversial
never
topic
know
kind of.
if John really knew that. We'll
Same.
never know.
Yeah, never.
What about Brian? Nani?
Onions.
Mm.
Go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven's face.
Yeah. Onions or peppers or Yeah.
Not peppers.
not peppers.
No, they're too brown. They're like too gross.
Oh, really?
I do anchovies.
Oh, anchovies. Yes.
Ooh, that
Forgot
probably is
about
good.
it. Yep, he loves onions and anchovies. That's the classic.
Salty.
It sounds horrible, but
And
good.
I learned to eat it. It's pretty good.
I learned-
I just remember that episode of the Magic School Bus when they had anchovies and like the anchovies were coming towards the kids on the bus and they're like anchovies. And so since then I didn't like anchovies.
Trauma.
yeah,
Yeah, that's traumatic experience.
that show is
Wow.
educational for me.
What does Steven put on his pizza?
Steven likes to put. Steven is basically making a salad with bread underneath.
Let's go.
So he puts like tomatoes. He puts what's that?
Both types of tomatoes, sun dried and regular.
Yeah. And he'll
Oh,
put
Fresh
he'll
and
put pineapple. He'll put
Yes.
and not anchovies. What's the artichoke?
Olives,
Olives.
both peppers.
What's the
Green,
the
red,
fancy
yellow pepper.
green-
the fancy green
The
one?
fancy
Jalapenos?
green leaf?
Oh, arugula.
Arugula.
Fancy,
Oh,
fancy,
yes, I love arugula.
And of course spinach also.
Spinach,
Everything's on there.
Arugula, basil. It's disgusting.
Any vegetable is on there.
It's like a haystack pizza version.
yeah.
Exactly, yes.
it's
Oh, I love it.
a pay stack.
When did you start doing that? We need to unpack your childhood here real quick.
Did you feel like you weren't?
I maybe is it like sometimes I think of pizza like I can get away with having my amount of veggies for the day by just like stacking on
Right.
a lot of veggies on the pizza, and so it doesn't make me feel as guilty.
Right,
Do you feel?
right.
Do you kind of feel that maybe a little bit?
No, I mean, to be honest, I just can't decide. Like, I see one, oh, I want this. And
That's
then I'm
right.
like, oh, I just.
Mm.
So that's why I
Okay.
like go to Blaze. Like, if they give you the option of like having one thing, like one topping or two toppings, or then you can have access to all of them.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm just gonna take all of them. And then when I have access to all of them,
Why order a salad when I can put it on my pizza?
exactly, why not get both?
Yep.
That's good. That's good.
Alrighty, I have another question for Los Esposos. What is one of the favorite character traits of your wife?
It's like a jump, but
Pizza to character.
I mean, I guess I'll go first. Mine is definitely like resilience. In terms of like
Mm.
anytime there's something difficult, she's, she may, how do I say it? Like a lot of times she might express like doubt, but
Mm.
I never see doubt like in her actions, right? So her words, she may be like, I'm not sure I can do this, but there's a continual like pushing forward. And I mean, that was from the time I met her. Like, I mean, from the time I met her and I was like, oh man, who's this? Who's this? I mean, literally, like it was always just this sort of like, I'm gonna step into spaces that aren't necessarily welcome for me, but I'm gonna bring, what I bring. So resilience is like the first one that popped into my head. And then she's puts up with me, so that takes resilience as well.
That's funny.
I should have gone lighthearted. I should.
Yeah, like,
No, that's okay. That's
she likes
okay.
pizza. Yeah.
you got a nice smile, I guess. That character, she smiles. No, I would go with man, there's a lot of words. I think I would say courageous now, maybe. In just the sense that she's not afraid to take on new things and put new things on her plate. So, like just recently, she's trying to go and do more things, right? So that means she'll be more busier or have more things to do. But she's courageous enough to go out on a limb and say, I'm afraid I don't know how that's going to turn out or how I'm going to do, but I'm going to go and do it. And she can go into a room and still be unafraid of the unknown, I guess. So that's the courageous. So congrats.
Yeah. Man, I'm really bad at just putting everything into just a couple of words.
Right.
I'm better at just like describing what the thing is and just kind of hoping people know what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna go with two words, and I want to explain them because they don't make sense. First one is transformative, and I'll get to that. And then the second one is and the second one is defiant, right? And I'll get to that. And so here's here's what I mean by that. What I mean by that is that she's like extremely adaptable. Like she'll transform herself into whatever it is that is needed according to her surrounding, however she can serve best, however she can be of help, however she can promote things, however she can just make everything around her better. She'll transform herself into what makes that better. And that includes herself. Like she'll be completely adaptable. She'll drink this bitter tea that I drink that no one likes, but she'll drink it, and things like that I see that she's much more moldable and than I am, and she is willing to grow out of different stages in life much quicker, even though sometimes you're pushed out of those stages in life. And then the second thing, I said, what did I say? I said defiant. And I said defiant because we don't see that as a good character trait, but it really is, and especially in moments like this where if you don't have that urge to defy the status quo, you're not going to grow. You're not going to move forward. And she's always asking the tough questions, which always annoy me, but it grows me, and I can tell that it grows the people around her. And yeah, it can stir up the pot sometimes, but that's part of life. That's part of growth. And I wouldn't grow as a person or as a pastor if I didn't have her pushing my buttons and making me see things in a different light of what I'm trained to see.
That's good. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I feel like this ties really well into the next. Yes, sorry, I'm so sorry. That was very.
Oh, you're snapping. I thought you were.
It ties really well into the next question, which is how did you meet your spouse? And I feel like in previous conversations, in asking this question to you guys, these two words come into play in your story. So if you can, Brian or Nani or both of you, tell us a little bit about how you met. How did you guys become Nani and Brian?
But we just went. I think it's someone else. How did we become
one?
Well, we met in college. I think all of us, met in college. And what two words are you thinking about? Like, I don't know.
The two words you just used, defiant and defiant. And what was the other one?
Transformative.
What? Transformative? Oh yeah. So how does that apply to
our story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, dude. Like the first time we met, she wasn't the nicest of people to me, and that was mostly based on like just your past experience with people like me, and so that's understandable. But Can you just go? I don't know how.
Yeah,
I
keep
don't-
go. It's
I don't
good.
know.
You chose transformative and defiant.
I feel like I'm in that stage of your sermon where you're like, I know I'm going somewhere. I just forgot how to get there, and you're just kind of just mumbling on.
I really don't know where. I'm
You're
like,
like, oh, I'll figure it out, and then you get a nice little amen at the end.
Make it plain, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
break it down.
Break it down.
So yeah, she was very defiant in the way that she, when we first met, she didn't like me, and I didn't like her because she was, the way she was with me. But over time, we sat down, we drank mate, we drank tereré, we became friends, and I guess that's where the moldable, the transformative part of her comes in. And I used to be like extreme. Can I say cocky? I used to be, yeah.
I don't know. I guess
I used to be extremely cocky, like very proud, very like, just like
yes,
conceited.
Mhm.
And
you're admitting to that? You used to be that way, or you were admitting to the perception that someone believed you were that way?
so both, in a way, like, yes, I'm very proud. Like, oh, Argentina's number one, when really we're not. We're like one of the worst countries in the world. But I'll still say things like that, or be like, oh, yeah, no, I'm the best. But it's not. So anyway, she toned that down. So like her transformative thing kind of rubs off on you, and it's just like, yeah. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's kind of like how we started. Like, we became friends, and we hung out for a long time, and then that just blossomed into, we wanted something more, and we started dating, and then we dated for like a while,
2 years.
2 years, and then we were engaged for 1 year, and then we got married. Yeah.
Yay.
It's a great story. I know.
I love it. If you guys have any more like details, like what did that transition actually look like, you could always private message them, right, on Instagram. Any specific question.
Yeah, what's your couple page, right? Or don't
You can see very honest forward.
do that plug?
Our couple page plug is at the main couple, MANE, as in like our hair, because his hair is really like longer than mine. That was his creation, by the way. A lot of people don't know that, because I'm the one that's always on social media, but that was like our hashtag for our wedding. Like the day we got engaged, we were in an Uber in Boston, and I'm like, oh my God, we need a hashtag. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, the main couple. Okay, that's awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And it's stuck.
That's cute.
It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, that's good.
Now you guys know. At them. Any questions you have, relationship advice, they got you. Val, Steven, how did you guys meet? And then get engaged and get married?
So I went to college.
And I was there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I went to this college, some Christian college.
I think
And he was there.
No? Is it a university?
Yeah,
were
some
in-
university. It was a Christian university.
You were in the same space. That's what.
We were in the same space. I got there a little later. I'm older by a year, by 9 months actually. So when he was being conceived, I was,
Scandalous.
Yeah, when
right?
when
I was born and you were being conceived.
Yes.
Because God knew that I needed a partner.
Yeah.
In life.
Yes.
Give us that twist. Give us that plot twist. Yeah.
Just like Adam and Eve.
You were,
I was born first, then Stephen came because he needed to complete my life. Anyways.
What version are you reading?
I was taken from the rib.
Yeah. Our running joke is that, what is it? And Abraham called Sarah my Lord. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's her version.
That's my version. Valerie's Bible. Anyways. Yeah. So we were both in Christian university. We ended up both working at the same place, a call center. And there was a friend there of ours. Well, actually, she was our boss. Right? She was our boss.
Yeah.
She was our boss. She was trying to hook him up because she found out that he had just broken up with his girlfriend. Sorry, I didn't. Shout out if you're listening.
Yes, give us all the dirty
I'm thinking
details.
about
Even fly.
You got the
No, don't worry, Chantal will fill in the details.
Oh, yeah.
If you need to know the details, DM Chantal.
DM Chantal.
I've heard this story multiple times, guys. I'm the expert. I tell it even better than they do, honestly.
I'm just waiting for her to like jump in. So it's
Chantal
like,
has like a timeline graph and everything. Like, if you're wondering, he was single, yeah.
according to my calculation.
Yeah, so he was single. And then his boss was like, let me try to hook you up with some of the girls at the call center. So she would intentionally put them to leave at the same time after work, because we would work until nighttime, until around 10 p.m. And he did it one time with me.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Sounds weird.
I'm not
yeah.
going to say anything.
What? Dilo.
No,
Yeah.
go right ahead, Steven.
Steven, yeah, you go ahead, Steven.
Okay, all right. Yeah, no. So we basically, like, when you're finishing up, you have like a log sheet, right? And all the calls you made or whatever.
Am
So
I saying things in a really
so then she
inappropriate
she put the log sheet, so we had to leave at the same time. So we had to walk out of work at the same time. Yes, I see what you said. I know. It's the first thing I thought. So we're leaving work at the same time. That was what we had done, was leave work at the same time. And then you can pick up from there.
We did not do it until the wedding night, just letting everybody know.
Oh, no, that's not where my mind went. My mind was like thinking that the boss would intentionally put different girls.
Well, yeah, that is
to
accurate.
Yeah.
That is
to
accurate.
end the
Yeah, that is
end the
accurate.
call evening with. So then it was
Yeah,
Valerie's turn.
It was my
So we're
turn.
just, like,
actually.
ticking the girls off
Yeah.
of the list.
Steven was the, mero, and he had
Wow.
Okay, this is not really essential to the story. Let's
So then, like, Ryan, he thought he was cocky and all that.
Yeah, I thought that he was cocky. I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, what kind of... He was all, I got to go to basketball practice.
I had a game.
Because he had to go
I
to
had
a
a
game.
game,
He
yeah.
had to go to a game, so he had to leave our training early. And I was like, wow, how self-important is he? But then I got to know him, and I was like, okay, he's not that bad.
After this call, the call list log night. you
Yeah,
guys-
after that
Well,
night.
we kind of talked a little bit before then, though.
Oh,
Like we would like talk. No, well, like not talk, but like we would just like, because I like
Converse.
interact like colleagues at work, right? Your coworker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked maybe like once or
Maybe once or
twice,
twice, yeah.
but we weren't like in each other's world, so we didn't really talk like that.
Yeah, so it was like what, near the end of the school year, and then so we are leaving work, and it's raining outside. It's like a movie. Right? It's raining outside, and Valerie, I don't understand what is the thing that you call it that you were talking about?
Oh, that's right.
With the rain, and then like
Right.
getting
And
wet
that's a cultural
being
thing.
sick.
I really do want to know, out of all the people that are listening, because we have, Latinx people
No,
listening.
Varios patrocinadores? No. I think-
Yeah. So, okay, so this is a thing that I grew up knowing, because apparently this is what we think, that if you get your head wet and you don't get your feet wet, you get sick. So you have to either get your feet and your head wet or get none wet. So that's why I was like freaking out. I was like, oh, my head's gonna get wet, my feet aren't wet. So I was about to take my shoes off and go. This is so, I don't know what this is. This is some sort of folklore thing.
Yeah.
It must be.
Spiritualism.
No, it's anyways.
Okay, so then she says this, right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get sick," and I'm like, "It's barely raining. Are you serious?" And I felt bad afterwards.
He didn't understand. He
I
didn't
didn't understand
understand
the point of
my Latinx heritage.
Yeah.
He had not
It's just-
no exposure to
no,
the amazing
that's trash.
culture that is my culture. Anyways.
So then basically I had a jacket in my bag, and
Yeah.
I gave her the jacket, and I was like, "Here, just use this,
Oh, crush.
so you don't
Yes.
have to. So your head is covered, so you don't have to take your shoes off."
Amen.
And, like, I don't really like my feet being wet like this.
Amen.
Amen.
I have a
So,
question.
Uh-huh.
So
We're supposed to be telling.
I'm
things.
sorry.
No, I want that. What's the question? What's the
I
question?
want to know, was that intentional? Did he know? Did he know?
Did I know what?
Did he know that you were gonna text me after?
Uh
Was this intentional? Like, I'm gonna give her my jacket.
no, it wasn't like it
Oh.
wasn't. I gave you my jacket, but I knew the potential by giving you my jacket. We'll go with that.
What was the potential?
I had
you would be dry.
Ooh, that I would be dry.
that you would. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So then she walks back to the dorm or whatever. Because at the college, right, there's like guys to the left, girls dorm to the right, those separate places. I didn't walk with her to the dorm because it was raining, and I just texted you when you got back.
And then after that, we started talking.
Yeah, we started hanging out. Got my jacket back.
Amen.
No, you never got your jacket back.
I didn't. Oh, that's true. I didn't. Yeah, until like later.
Never. Like, ever.
That's true. Till we got married.
Steven, like, that's not your jacket anymore, Steven. Like,
Yeah.
you gave it to me that night. Like, it's mine now.
That is true, actually.
You
Because you
went-
forgot it when I asked for it back. There was one time we were supposed to
This
get
is not true. Guys, he's completely lying. I would try to give it back to him. I would carry it around school. And if
actually,
anybody,
you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I
Was
would
it a blue jacket?
yes.
I did see you with it. I think. I feel like.
See?
A blue hoodie.
Yeah, it was a blue hoodie. I
No.
would
Yeah.
carry it around school and try to give it back to
So
him.
like,
Yeah,
bro.
sure.
Blue's a popular color.
Sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So she keeps the jacket, and then summer comes, right? And then we just continue talking throughout the summer. And then we come back.
Yeah. And then it was awkward, but then we got together.
Pretty much got together after that. Dated for a couple years, right? Two and a half years. And then got
Mhm.
married.
Got
at the
engaged.
old
and got married.
age. Got married at the old age of 22.
Wow.
So that was kind of
Yeah,
kinda dope.
we were young.
so we've been married 5 years already.
We were young. She said.
You're still young.
We're still young, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. It was just
That's it.
how did we meet? So that's how we met.
Beautiful.
Chan and Sebs. Sebs?
So how we met? We met at summer camp, and that was that.
Oh, this is
So send your kids to summer camp. Camp Kalakwa, save Camp Kalakwa, Camp Fundraise.
Kulak.
We didn't meet at Camp
Kalakwa.
Oh.
Camp in Texas.
We met at a camp
Oh, we
in
didn't
Texas. Oh, Brian, look, I know Val and Steven's story. Brian knows Chan and Seb's story. No.
But he's
No,
not
I
gonna
just remember what you guys said. That's
But that can't be the full story because there's always drama at like camp. So there's got to be more to just like we met at camp and then
Look here. I shouldn't say anything.
Mhm.
Then Sebs should say something.
So we were the first time Chantal claims that she said hi to me was when we were campers at summer camp, and I went up to sing with my
At the age
cabin.
of 14.
We sang a song, The Potter's Hands.
Chantal claims this occurred.
I don't remember,
This
but
was
we
an
came
event
off
that
and she
happened.
said, we came out and she said, "Hey, great job." And I was probably like, I don't know what I said, but I don't
said-
remember because I don't know if it
I
was.
said something like I know. Like dang.
I don't
Exactly. Thank you. Sebi, as the other two males in this conversation,
Wow.
also, I perceived him to be cocky and stuck up. So I did not like hanging out with Sebastian, even though we had the same group of friends. If we were in a circle talking and Sebi would enter that circle, I would leave the circle because I didn't want to.
Very defiant.
I'm very big on like feminism and like I'm a woman and who is this guy? Who does he think he is? Like, go away.
So yeah. So yeah, that we started working at that same summer camp, and that's where that all kind of spearheaded. I try to be very friendly with everyone, and so obviously I was learning. I'd been dating a lot. Chantal had as well, and so coming
That's
into this,
not accurate. That's not accurate.
That sounds right. That sounds right. to me.
Disclaimer, whatever the FSA is questionable in this conversation.
No, that sounds right.
Yes. That's
No.
the other disclaimer we should have added. Don't believe anything the jefes say. Just believe the doña.
so we had both come from kind of intense relationships, really desiring not to.
Not just. I hadn't dated anyone for like 3.
But the
4
last
years.
relationship you were in was very intense.
Yes.
So it's a true statement.
Mm.
that's true.
You
yeah.
know, we
It is
haven't
true.
heard anything there. We gotta have a separate.
And so
Off camera, yeah.
So long story short, I come into it not really looking for anything, just want to be friends. And so I see this girl, and as a 9, right, I want to live at peace with everyone, right? So this drives me to not be in conflict. So I see someone that I perceive to be in conflict with me. So I want to find out what's going on. So I really pursued her, not romantically, but as a friend. Like what we're all. It was the first time working at camp. Why are you so? So there was So slowly but surely, we kind of started hanging out more. I kind of like, was it Val said, I think that, you know, we got to know each other. I thought she was just overtly bubbly, and it was kind of annoying in the beginning. I was like, you're just too loud, like you're just too much.
I know a lot of people think that.
And then Chantal was in the same way, thought I was very cocky, right? But the more we got to know each other, the more passionate we saw that we were, that the more that we saw the passion that we had for God and mission and stuff. And so we're like, oh wow, she's pretty cool. She happened to be my sister's counselor as well, so my sister spoke highly of her, which is really good. My sister sat me down one time and she said, you better not break her heart. And that just shows kind of the track record that I had. And I was like, I'm your brother. She's like, I don't care, but she's my counselor. And I was like,
yes, I love that advocacy.
Yeah. So at the end of that summer camp, we didn't really know if the other person liked us, or if we liked each other. I mean, I didn't know if it was like the feelings were mutual.
Yeah.
So we got together, and she was about to go to Panama. Then she was going to go to Andrews. I was going to go to Southern. And so we we're going to be long distance. So we just said, hey,
institutions there.
Oh, all right. We were going to a university in some place in the US. And so, yeah, so we tell each other we liked each other, so began Skyping and talking, texting, and then we did a year.
Gentlemen of the jury, I'm curious. Bear with.
So we did it, yeah. And then from there, that kind of kicked off. We were friends. We called ourselves best friends with intentions. And so for a whole year,
BFF
we got to know each other. And it was growing experiences. We had times where we thought maybe it wasn't going to keep going. You know, there's some not situation, but
yeah, that was a question that I wanted to ask you guys. Was there ever a time in your relationship where you were like, I don't know if this is going to continue, or you like broke up? Because like sometimes I felt like there's a strong pressure within our spheres of like, you have to meet the one, and then once you meet the one, you can't let go. Like there can't be any issues, like the Lord ordained this. And it's like, no, like sometimes you can get frustrated with them and just be like, where is this going? Like what's happening? Like you hit that like fork in the road, or you hit that like rough patch. And I was wanting to ask you guys if you ever had, if you want to talk about the situation, or just yes or no, like, yeah, we've had that in our dating experience.
You guys start. You were kind of already talking about it.
Yeah, so it was actually from my end. Sebs and I, for those of you that don't know, Sebs and I were a long distance couple for a long time. It wasn't like 3 months.
All of our relationship.
All of our relationship was long distance.
We're still long distance.
We were in two different.
No, we're not.
We lived in two different states, and we were long distance for like 4 years. And so then, like, if you weren't talking on Skype every evening, then you weren't invested into a relationship pretty much. And so there was like this towards the end of the BFFWI school year, Sebs wasn't like communicating a lot. Like it was like one-worded answers. And so then I was like, what's happening? Like, why am I getting so invested into this person? Like, I didn't like the idea that I would feel weak, or I had felt weak, like exposing so much of my emotions and relying and allowing someone to hurt me in a sense. So I was like, I'm just going to stop this because I don't want to get more hurt. And I don't want this guy to have power over my emotions. So he went to a mission trip in Guatemala and like didn't talk to me for a whole month. And like during this month, I was like, what's happening? What am I doing?
Guatemala, we didn't have any service. Oh, I don't think we had.
I feel like it was because you were like posting pictures on Facebook. And if you could post pictures,
that was my
Facebook,
mom actually.
Then you can talk to me.
Actually, yeah, we may have had.
Your mom was in Guatemala with you.
Somehow she got.
That's what it was.
The
like
pictures got leaked. Pictures got leaked.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
The same.
Like the friends that were girls were posting pictures of their experience, and I was like, they have access. Why isn't Sebs? No,
so it wasn't me.
Yeah. So then we came back, and I was like, he was intentional. It came out of nowhere. Like I was praying about it, and then he came out to say, like, hey, I know I haven't been really intentional about talking to you, and I apologize for that. And I was like, oh, wow, thanks for bringing that up, because I was about to
peace out. Yeah.
Say bye. Yeah, happened at the front of my house.
And this is during your
before we started dating. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And from mine, I don't know. I don't really remember that period, honestly. But There wasn't really a time where I thought it wasn't going to work. There's always that what if, especially being long distance, which I think is kind of it's not that it's easier, but it could be easy to sway and I don't want to say if you want to say cheat, but to just be like, hey, I've seen other options here, and so it's always fighting.
Like you can emotionally get connected to someone else.
Right.
Face
in long distance, and so it was always fighting that pressure, and obviously being at Southern, you have that pressure of getting married and stuff, and so you have
calling out the institutions again.
It's the Southern Matrimony College. But yeah, it was never a thought of like it wasn't gonna work. I was just like, we're gonna see how it continues. I was, we were pretty intentional, but there was definitely tough times like when she got into PT school. And I remember one of her first conversations, since you put me on blast. She was making her schedule for the day, right? You know how Chantal's like very orderly and like there's timed out, they're scheduled, and I'm gonna do this from 3:30 to 4:30. So I was like, all right, cool. When's our time to talk? And she's like, I have you from 7 to 7:30 every morning. I was like, first of all, I'm not even awake because I'm not going to class, And so I was like, so that was kind of like a cry because she was just starting PT school, really stressed out what that was like.
In times of stress, 7s go to 1. So you get very like regimented and like I would have note cards with every hour like made for the day. And Seb's didn't even have an hour. He had a half an hour schedule.
So I was like, yo, this is not going to work. Like, and so we had it was a couple months of conversation where I was like, we can't really schedule like, even if let's just try to just text each other throughout the day. Don't just say, okay, I'm just going to talk to you at this time. Right. So I tried to, and so thankfully it worked out. It was more like, hey, just anytime you have free time, I would call her up and be like, hey, I'm walking from class to class. So that helped to continue. Right. Whereas if we would have done 7 to, we may have just been like, it's not going to work. So.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, for being
for
honest and your feelings. I appreciate that. Anyone else?
Oh yeah. No, I understand that. Like we get that feeling. We did long distance during one of like probably my most unhealthy times with mental health wise. And I was discovering who I was now with this diagnosis and trying to help another person understand that and understand like just how to navigate through life with this. And Brian was nothing but so forgiving, so understanding, so like moving forward and he's always had that like the future and the plans and all, that vision that I my head was always in the past and not being what's it called content with what I had at the moment or with who I was or whatnot. So it took a lot of learning and unlearning together. To at one point, he wasn't even aware, but in my mind, I was like, yeah, we're going to break up during this phone call. He wasn't even aware because I was like, not in the sense like we weren't working out. It's just I didn't feel worthy or I just didn't feel, again, this was like long distance. So it was over the phone. I didn't feel like I could make him happy because I had come to the conclusion that I would never be happy.
Wow.
Not even like just being by myself, just, so I was like, are you willing to live with me? This was when we were dating. We weren't engaged yet, but we got engaged. Not like you had that in he had that plan and I didn't know, but regardless of that, I still was like very open and honest and about that. So I think the years after that were still very challenging because they were still long distance. So when we started, like when we got married, I was going to say when we started living together, when we got married and then we were able to like not hide behind a phone or not like make an excuse like, oh, I have soccer or be distracted by things. And we could face these things like head first, and that changed our relationship. So I would say our relationship is completely different to what it was than when we were dating.
Mm-hmm.
The challenges are still there, obviously. And I'm still getting to know who I am and he's getting to know my defiant side as well a little better. Keep on our toes, but it's good.
So that phone call, like what were you guys like talking about it during that phone call?
Yeah, we were talking about it mainly
Brian's like, that's news to me. I don't remember.
Like, he didn't really know that. In my head, I was like, yeah, he deserves better than me. Like, after this, I'm like gonna end this. Or like, hey, you should like look for someone better. And I told him that on the phone. I was like, you deserve someone so much better that is stable and that knows what they want and that is confident and all these things, because you are this and this and this and that. Like, lowering myself, was like, you don't get it. I just want you. Like, and we were, like, having that conversation was what pivoted our relationship. It doesn't mean that I was perfect after that. I was still like, I don't know. He was still, we were still growing and learning from each other after that. Now that we knew that what the issues or what was going on with me was.
I love that you bring this point to the conversation. I feel like a lot of times within our sphere, we're supposed to have it all together, be completely perfect, have ironed out all the wrinkles in our relationship, and then we're going to get married. And it's like, no, you're going to continually struggle. Like, it's literally just the beginning of having a friendship or having a relationship with someone, and you're going to have constant conversations, deep conversations, self-doubt. That's something that's really big. Like, I feel like I think about that now, like, I'm not being the best wife that I should be to my husband. And that's, I like that you bring that point across, Nani. Thank you for sharing that.
There's something that I want to say when it comes to dating, and just because you love each other doesn't mean you have to get married and end up together. You know, you can love someone and, all right, well, we're just different people, and that's okay. You don't have to go out and marry that person. And I think a lot of times, like you were already mentioning, we're prone to, at least in our in our religious culture, to say, oh, we love that person and we'll accept them no matter what their flaws are. That is a mistake. You know, we're not here to fix anybody. And many times we tend to cling on to people because we love them. We're like, oh, okay, I'm going to fix you. And that's an impossible challenge that you're going to have. And that's not something that we're called to do. We're not called to fix anyone. I want to say that because when it came to Nani and myself, I am the type of person that's very loyal. And so for someone else, if she was with someone else and she told them that, maybe, yeah, things would have ended, and that wouldn't have been wrong either. So I'm just trying to say, like, there's different people out there. Just because you pour your heart out and they accept you doesn't mean that they have to now marry you or anything like that. That's just who I am. I'm very loyal, and when it comes to the challenges, I think the only challenge on my side that I face is the fact of communicating constantly throughout the day. If we talk on the phone for 2 hours, like, I don't feel like there should be an expectation for me to text you throughout the day. Like, we just spoke on the phone for 2 hours, bro. Like, I'm the type of person that I love to go out, play soccer, be with friends, do whatever, waste my time, and then have to, like, do a bunch of stuff to make up for all the time I've wasted. But I've wasted with friendships or with just investing in myself. And when it came to Nani, it was like, all right, yeah, you talk for 2 hours, but then you got to text constantly. And if you don't text, it's like, hey, you okay? What's up? And so, I don't know.
In other words, I'm needy.
So I have a tough time with that because I'm very independent. Like,
and he
I don't
sucks at texting. Oh my, sucked.
Like, it's like,
he didn't leave his phone at his apartment all the time. Like, he didn't care about his phone.
I don't care about my phone. Like,
he cares now.
Now he's good. He's a good texter.
Yeah. Like, even when we go to sleep at night, it's like, don't touch me. Like, I need to sleep. Like, don't touch me. Like, I can't sleep with someone, like, on top of me.
Like, cuddling is not. Yeah.
Like, I can cuddle for like 5 minutes, but then I start getting hot, and it's like, yeah.
He's also And then now he falls asleep with his phone in his hand, like watching videos.
Oh.
Yeah. It's my moment to decompress from the day.
He really needs, that's his, like, alone time. He's a 5, so he needs to, like, self-isolate to kind of recharge and whatever, and that's, like, his little break as well. I can't take technology to bed because then I can't sleep. I discovered recently. So, that's another challenge. Okay.
Sleep segment. Let people know.
For real though. For real.
Your phone's away 30 minutes before you go to sleep so that blue light doesn't keep you awake. Okay, thanks.
For me, it's just purely psychological. Like it can be on my phone in the living room and just come to bed and try to sleep with my sleep sounds of rain or whatever. It's just like the fact of like if I'm with my phone in bed, I'm gonna stay awake until like 3 a.m. because I'm gonna keep scrolling through TikTok or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Val, Steven.
I actually wanted to mention something. I really like what Brian said about like not having to fix people. I think that that's something that I definitely feel was different about Steven. Like I never like I think I had always I don't think I approached my relationships that way, but I always ended up somehow that way, like feeling like I had to stay with this person because I needed to fix them, you know, like but it never was the case with Steven, which is nice. Anyways, that was just something I wanted to mention. But
The original question was
the whole like, was there a challenge? I know for me there was. Did you wanna
go ahead. And then...
So we've mentioned this before that I was studying theology at this Christian college. Christian university, I mean. And something that Steven and I disagreed on at the time was
don't judge me now.
Women's ordination.
My past failures.
And
wait, who was for and against?
Well, I'm studying it, so
you never know.
That's true. There's women who will. That's true. So I obviously felt like I needed Steven's 100% support if I was going to enter into this field, and I needed him to believe that I'm not doing something bad by being in this field. So
which was true.
Like I would have conversations with him, and I would be like, you need to tell me that you support me 100% and that you believe in women's ordination. And for me, that was important because I knew that if I was going to live with somebody, I needed to have like that person to support me and back me up in order for me to thrive. There may be some women that don't need that, but I know I needed that. So when Steven wasn't sure, like it's not that he was like anti-women's ordination or anything like that, but he wasn't sure, and I was like, sure is not good enough. Like I needed you to be like sure of my calling. I need you to be able to support me in that. So when he wasn't, like I was considering like, well, if he can't support me, then I'm gonna choose, like living my life and my call without fear than feeling like my home doesn't even have my support. Like there's doubt in my support about my calling. So yeah, that was one of the reasons why I had a hard time. I don't know if you want to express maybe what you were feeling at that time.
I mean, at that point, looking back, like you had no reason to not feel that way, right? That was just 100% an easy request of me. If my personality is like, if I get backed into a corner, like I don't always respond well. Like I'm always kind of like, well, if you're backing me into a corner, then and I'm gonna say nothing versus like, I don't know what to say. Like I need time to think about it and process, and the reality is that maybe I shouldn't have, but there's also impact of culture. There's impact of understanding of how things are, right? So that was just kind of where I was. Now I look back at that moment in my life, I'm like, the heck were you thinking? Like that was just, but there's also a level of, understanding and growth that I had to come to. And I remember it literally was like I spent time, and it literally, like for me, I felt like it became like I'm her number one fan. Like that was what I needed. That was the role I needed to enter into. And it just kind of became natural after that point where I was like, no, like, she is, she's, I'm her number one fan. She's excellent at what she does. I know personally that she is called to whatever she can do. She can do whatever. And I know that firsthand. Right. So it kind of shifted to that. And it was a moment where I had to learn and grow. And I think that's a lesson in relationships too. I think there's a threshold though. I think like Valerie was at that threshold, like, yo, if we're going to go any further, I need you to get on board. And if not, then, and it was every reason for her to say like, this is not going to work. And so I think that's, I guess a lesson, right? So it's okay to have those limitations that, hey, this is a make or break. This is important because especially at that stage, when you're investing money into your education, when you're investing money into where you're wanting to go, like there's no if there's things that you're like, hey, this is what I need from a partner, like it's okay to have those things, as long as, because she wasn't asking for something small. She was asking for something important tied to what she was doing.
Right. It was tied
and
from my
tied to who she was.
values.
Yeah, your value system.
Yeah.
And so that's key. Regards to the other question, I really don't think I ever really had a moment. I think early on, like, if you knew us back at Christian college, maybe we were a little bit more. I think we tried to have the idea that we were perfect. Like we tried to give off that perception, maybe, because I felt like that was what we were required to do. And at least for me, I just wanted to do right in a relationship. So for me, I was like, man, I'm gonna do everything I can to try to seem like I'm doing things right. I do think that kind of undercut our true experience, in terms of what we actually were. And I think there were moments where it was never like, I don't know if we're gonna break up or what. It was more of like, can we continue functioning this way, right? Can we continue functioning in a way that's not authentic, in a way that's not true to our experience? And I think I feel like for me, it all kind of came to a head when we got engaged, and there was there was not like cheering and celebration when we got engaged. It was, kind of not like, no one was excited about it, other than like us and, some of our close friends.
Oh.
And, there was a moment of like, yo, is this, and I'm 21 years old, right? At this time, I'm 21 years old. I'm about to graduate. I think I have my life planned out. This is what I was told to do, growing up. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to graduate, get a job, and move forward, right? And find somebody, right? But I wasn't having that moment. So it was another, at least for me, like, man, is this what I want, right? Am I making the right choice? And I knew in my heart I was, because God had been leading to that point. There was full clarity, but it was, man, all these other outside voices are kind of trying to pull me away from that. And it's, what voice am I choosing to listen to, which is the greatest voice? And I had to step back into that original phase of, man, no matter what, like, this is the decision I'm moving forward with. So it didn't matter if anybody came up to me and was like, you're too young, or what are you guys going to do? Or whether it was a cultural issue, it was like, man, you can, yeah, well, it's G-rated, but yeah, it was kind of like, I had to come into that realization. And I think for me, it prepared me for marriage, to be able to really know, like, at any cost, we ride together, and that's a choice I'm making, right? You're not making me make this choice. I'm making this choice, and God has led this choice. So, I mean, you got something to say, you can step. Like, that's kind of where I got to, like, it was just kind of like, it doesn't really matter. And even though I'm a kid, I'm not stupid, like someone else is guiding me. So that was kind of, there was never, I felt like we also were, as a couple, we never really were like, we're just gonna break up. Like, we never felt like we were gonna break up over something petty. Like, it was a commitment for us to really step into this relationship, like, because we had shared, early on, like, these are some of our issues, these are our flaws, and we're like, hey, we're gonna ride this thing together. This is a choice we're making. And maybe if we get to a point where it's gonna be difficult, then okay, we'll work through it. But that was a lot. But I just wanted to share a little bit on that.
Yeah. Thank you, bringing that profoundness. Val, you were saying before about like what the values that you had and these deep rooted values, and that you had kind of that time if Stephen wasn't supporting your career path. And it just reminded me of like in our premarital counseling, our premarital counselor was really straightforward. And it's like, you guys still have time to say no. Like, and the first time we had a legit argument, because our premarital counselor was trying to teach us how to argue correctly. One of them was kind of that theme that you're saying, Val. It's like, I said, me tying myself to a pastor, it feels like my dreams aren't going to be able to become accomplished. Like, I'm putting my aspirations and everything that I had dreamed of for myself to become in second place. And it's not necessarily like yours is like, that was your career. Like, you need someone to support your career, right? That's a whole other level. But in a small, tiny way, I kind of had that, like, you need to support me as well. Like, how are you going to show that the effort that I put in the aspirations that I have, the prayers, the conversations, the passion that God placed within me, how are you going to audibly and visually demonstrate that you're supporting that as well within our relationship? And so thank you guys for sharing that aspect as well of relationships. I think a lot of people just see like the fun little things on social media, but the relationships that we have formed definitely took a lot of conversation and a lot of work and a lot of intentionality. And it kind of also, you guys led to a nice little segue, which is what you believe about ministry. We're going to take a quick pause here. Sebs has to go to the wedding.
Are you gonna cut your live thing, or
We can just we can edit it out, this whole segment. We can just and then put some. So I don't know what you want to do. We have another computer that's already on live, and we can continue the conversation. Or if we just wanted to stop here and make it part 1 and then pick it up at another time and make it part 2, we can decide what
I think that's better because we did the personal aspect now, and then we can get to like ministry.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
How to, do marriage and whatever.
How to do
I don't remember it. Oh,
Right, Val. That's what it is. How to do it. How to
Yeah.
How to do it. Yeah.
We'll talk about how to do it.
first time.
What?
Yeah, we need to.
That's so topic if you're comfortable with it. I don't know.
I don't necessarily know if I want to like explain the biology behind doing it.
I don't know if we need to.
Biology
a whole anatomy course.
But a lot of people don't even know the biology, so
That's
You
true.
had the
Especially in our culture.
That would be a conversation though. Like what's I mean, yeah, it's tough without getting specific, but like what's it's always like what's okay for a Christian or for a pastor, right? What does sex look like? Not physically, like, oh, this is what we do, right? And this is what she likes. Not like that. But,
Can we end the live section?
No, we have to have a good cut. Like we have to have a good ending.
all right, well, let's just.
Oh, we didn't have
we
a good
did,
ending
like-
right now.
Yeah,
we
No,
timed
we
out.
timed out.
Well, just to go 3, 2,
Oh,
1,
I
and be
thought that
like,
was
hey
part-
guys, we're gonna continue our conversation at a later time.
Yes.
Check it out in part 2.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, let's do that.
Ready? I'll count it
ahead.
down. You're talking, right?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the really deep introduction and conversations that we have already started. We wanted to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what it looks like to be in a beautiful Doña and Jefe marriage and relationship. Please tune in at our next episode to hear more about kind of how this incorporates now into spirituality, into marriage life, and all the aspects of marriage life.
Nice.
And as well as, just continuing to laugh and joke around in our sala. So we hope to see you guys again soon. Ciao.
See you.